Hi, welcome to the 2013 Amgen Tour of California Bicycling Magazine. I'm Joe Lindsay. I'm here alongside Frankie Andreu. And Frankie, this is the 8th annual Tour of California. It's awesome that the race is still going strong here, and we've got a really interesting course and an interesting field for the 2013 edition.
No, I mean, it's a fantastic course. You know, this year going from south to north, also I think still a really great field. Maybe not to the quality of level that we've seen maybe in years past, but there's still a lot of great riders here, some climbers, time trialists, some great sprinters. Obviously Sagan is the talk for all the stages that he won last year, and he's back, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to repeat the success he had from last year.
Yeah, certainly. I think there's probably more guys who will be able to compete with him for sprint finishes. One guy who I'm definitely looking at here is Johnny Mearsman from Omega. He's had a very good spring. He won a couple stages at Tour of Romandy, and I think Omega has the kind of the team here that could actually be good to support him for a lead out against Sagan. And that's one of the things that we didn't see much of last year, was teams that were really able to challenge them with like a full lead out train.
Yeah, and I also think one of the differences with last year's course to this year's course, this year there's some pretty big climbs. Early on, the first couple stages, later on some big climbs where I think it's hard enough to maybe separate Sagan out from the front runners. Last year, everything was very difficult, undulating like all day long, but it'd be a decent sized group at the end where Sagan could take advantage of that with his speed. But I think it's going to break up a lot this year, and so for the GC guys, it makes it a more complicated race. You can't just wait for one big day. You know,
right.
Last year you waited for what was Baldy.
Basically, yeah.
Came down to Baldy, time trial Baldy. This year it's spread out, I think, over a few more stages.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as we look at the course, like that stage 2 finish at Palm Springs is going to give guys a lot of problems because it's going to be hot that day. It's going to probably be close to 100 degrees or so. And the finish climb is very steep. It's about 1,000 vertical feet climb in under 2 miles. And many of the guys here, because this is almost an entirely new course, they haven't seen it. They don't know it.
No, yeah. I mean, I think stage 1, it's got some big climbs. And nobody has the yellow jersey, nobody has control. You play the poker game, who's going to chase?
Right, it's hurly-burly, it's very chaotic.
It's chaotic, so it's pretty undecisive, like who's going to be able to win that day and who's going to take control of it. The second day with the tramway, the time trial day, which has a steep finish, and then Diablo. There's a lot of days that's going to be important for the GC guys, and they make it or break it.
And that time trial is very far from straightforward. It's, you know, the first part of it is definitely kind of rolling, and there's some technical bits and that kind of thing, but then it finishes with a climb that's again very steep. It's about a 1,000-foot climb in roughly 2 miles, and then these guys are going to be doing that on time trial bikes, not road bikes. That's a totally different climbing.
They're debating if they're going to switch to road bikes.
Yeah, okay.
Which is a whole nother dimension. You know, I think it'd be sweet to see everybody trying to do bike changes at the bottom of a time trial climb. It'd be cool.
A little cyclocross action going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, when we look at the field, obviously, you know, the conventional wisdom is that TJ Van Gardner is sort of the prohibitive favorite here. But there's a bunch of guys who have had success at this race in the past and some guys who've never been here. So you've got Michael Rogers, he's a former winner of the race. Dave Zabriskie has finished second here 4 times. And then you've got a total wild card like Lou Vivestra from back in Soleil, who's obviously great, but he's never raced here. So who else do you look for?
I mean, you kind of named it. You know, Matt Boucher for Radio Shack. I think Mancebo with 5 Hour Energy is also going really well. So there's a pretty good, you know, it's not 2 or 3 individuals. You know, right now I think there's 8 guys that have opportunity to be able to win this race, and it's going to be how their team races, how they're set up for these, how they survive the first 2 days. I think the first 2 days are really critical in setting up who's going for GC and who's not.
Right. Okay, so that's a preview for the 2013 Amgen Tour of California for Bicycling Magazine. For Frankie Andreu, I'm Joe Lindsay. Thanks.